Yeah, Bays was on Halliburton less in that game than we expected. We moved him around a little bit more. It played smaller than we thought we would. But, yeah, I mean, great opportunity, to figure out kind of where we're at. This is a really good team, obviously, both ends of the floor. They really test you for 48 minutes. They're good on offense, good on defense, great depth. They play together. They're really competitive. And so, they require like a really strong punch to compete with them. And so looking forward to seeing how we respond to that challenge. And certainly it starts defensively with those guys. They've got great gravity as shooters, and you got to be really, really alert. They move really well off the ball. Their team they play to roles, and they find those guys when they're open. And so it's really going to test our mental toughness and our ability to do it for 48.
Bigger picture, what have been some keys to your back defense? So coming back down in transition, you guys are a top 10 defense this year, but you haven't shot it particularly well. When teams aren't having for a while, you're out of the net. What are some keys for you all?
I don't know. I think we don't turn it over very much. And I know you're not asking about that, but that's certainly in transition, that has a lot to do with it. If your offense is kicking it around, then it's kind of hard to get back. I think, we're sending guys to the offensive glass more than we ever have. And I actually think that helps your transition defense, just learning about it this year, because it engages more blockouts, which pulls more guys. You can't really leak out against a rebounding team. And so I think we've actually benefited from that in transition defense, and we've benefited from it with our offensive rebounding, which is interesting, just with the way that we've done it. And then I think just an effort to get back and the engagement to communicate. It's really that simple. One of the hardest codes to crack is like how to work on transition defense. Everybody's tried everything, and really that's what it comes down to, is like, is your offense sound, floor well spaced, not turning it over? Are you sprinting back? And do you have an engagement to communicate? And if you do those things, then you can be pretty good.
You mentioned not turning the ball over very much, but you guys have been moving the ball really well between the past 4 games. How have senior guys been able to balance that, the exposure risk that comes with moving the ball, but also making the decision to not turn the ball over so much?
Well, we turned it over a little in Sacramento. Like, we broke a couple front row noses in that game, but we're pretty good there. I think it's about making simple passes. The exposure risk comes in when you start trying to thread the needle, but when you're simple and you hit the open guy and you don't try to do too much, and you just let the ball get ahead of the defense and let the next guy play out of advantages, I think there's a benefit to that. I also think we've got some intelligent players on the team, that know where the ball should go and get it there. So, yeah, I don't really know other than that. We don't really preach ball security. We know that there's a risk with the amount that we want to move it, that'll happen. It's just more about executing and then just making the simple one and then allowing those guys to go play.
You mentioned it a little bit in the first answer, but what are the benefits for the young team to play Golden State Warriors, a team that may win it all this year?
Yeah, I think, we play 82 of them and all the teams are different, but when you get the opportunity to play against the best teams, it's an accurate barometer of where you're at. I think you can get away with some stuff against inferior opponents or even average teams where it can create a little bit of noise in terms of the way you evaluate yourselves. And against a team like this, there's no noise. It's all signal. And, if it works against this team or it works against Milwaukee or Phoenix, then it works, and if it doesn't, it doesn't. And so it's a great learning opportunity. And I also just think competitively, it's humbling to walk in there against a team like this and understand just how good you have to be to win the game. And I think that's a great opportunity for our guys, just to have the bar be that high on a given night and test ourselves. And so, we're not interested in being average. And, the way you get there is you stress test. And this is a stress test for us.
Mark, given the time that Kobe, and I'm sure there was a specific directive.
Yep.
How did he look to you?
Good. Really good. There's no secret to it. He's got to compete at a really high level and play really hard. He's physically, really not there yet. He's a young bodied player. And so he's got to offset the lack of physicality with competitive spirit and with hard, just effort. And that just can't waver. I thought he did that the other night. And then offensively, we've talked about efficiency with him, and he doesn't have to be perfect, but he can't be careless with his turnovers, and he can't be careless with shot selection. I thought he was really tight the other night. And so I think the work he did with us on court And also the time with the blue, that those feedback loops and those reps, including today, are, for a young player like that, that's really, really valuable. He's close. He's like really close. He's done a really good job with his rehab. It's been a little while. And he's on the doorstep. He's probably going to be the first guy of these guys. And, if there's no hiccups, he's going to be the first guy that's going to be available. We'll see. I mean, we got to see how he responds. He's still not there yet, in terms of being fully cleared. But with where we are injury wise, like I wouldn't rule it out that he's with us at some point just based on that. Well, it's different from what he's dealt with before, the actual nature of this one, and it's definitely going to put him out, through the break. This isn't day to day. Yep.
Anything that you see that you can improve on in that area of the game, or like what's the key to doing that?
Yeah, I think like last year, I thought like Trent, as random of a player, Trent gave him some problems in Tampa. Beal gave him some problems, and those guys are like pin down players, and their patterns are pretty predictable. Stylistically, this guy's just like one of one. And the one thing I'll say is Dort, his rookie year, Curry was hurt and he didn't play him. And then last year, I want to say one of them was out the first time we played. And so he didn't play him. The first time he ever played him was at the end of last season. And obviously Curry went wild. And I just think it's a different taste. Like I was just telling Matt this, like Giddey is going to guard Wiggins a little bit tonight. He guarded Barnes the other night. Wiggins and Barnes are different players, but the fundamentals that you need to guard Wiggins and Barnes are similar. And so, there's kind of a cumulative effect of that, even though the players are different. With Curry, there's no other guy that is used the way that he's used that's as potent as he is with that style. And so you're only getting Curry reps when you play against Curry, And so Lou, I thought the first couple times we played him this year was markedly better than he was last year. And so I just think it's like going to take some time and take some reps for him to figure that out. But, we're betting on him.
Matt, I can barely hear you. I think you've called on me. Coach, I was just curious if Lou is going to play in a mask tonight.
Yes, he's playing in a mask, and he looks awesome. So I've requested that he wears the masks forever, but I don't think he's on board with that. But yeah, he was getting it fitted. It's a fitted mask. It's clear, and it's very on brand. All right.